I wanted to write about love, and as my screen opens, I turn and listen to the noises intruding, the blackbirds trying to outcall the rooks. I envy these sounds of freedom.
We need to trust that not every idea of time is the same. But if we lean into it, the construct of time can change as we embrace the opportunity to learn more about love.
You showed me the history of love in a world without end, filling my bleak house with a circle of friends. Time and again you helped me escape the world until I returned you to the shelf.
We have a new name for the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19.
For the first time, there are more new cases of coronavirus being reported outside China than within.
4 more cases of coronavirus have been reported in England.
That's a 50% increase on the previous statistic.
Brings the total number of deaths here in the UK so far to 35.
The government ordered the immediate closure of almost all the places we go to for leisure.
The government is rejecting calls to relax the coronavirus lockdown.
The UK will remain in lockdown.
When lockdown was in full force, doing these kind of writing workshops connected me with who I was before lockdown, and they made me feel like I was in connection with my proper self.
I find it so sort of free-flowing, as you said at the beginning, just to write what you want, and then you end up writing something that is full in itself, which I love, because it comes from somewhere in the subconscious mind. So I really enjoy the group every week.
I find this is a really energetic and productive hour, 2 hours. It doesn't even feel like 10 minutes. It's interesting because I think what I write here, I will later on in the week, I'll type it up and save it as pieces.
I really like the freedom that these sessions allow, and I find that I am often quite pleased with what I write, and I find that they feed into other things that I have to write.
The truth is that in March, all of our lives changed almost beyond recognition. My situation was such that at the beginning of March, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. So I came down with that at the same time as a global pandemic. Since March, I have been literally confined to 4 walls without even being able to see my own family.
Isolation came as a massive shock, didn't it? One of the things that really got me through was doing my poetry readings every day, and that really uplifted my spirits. I suddenly thought, actually there's lots of people in our situation, so wouldn't it be great if we could create a writing project where those people could join together and collaborate. Thanks very much to the funding that we got from BD Renew and Pen to Print that enabled us to facilitate this project.
When it finally dawned on me that I was going to be in this room for 7 or 8 months, maybe longer, I knew I had to do something, and I had to do something radical. I had to find a way of making those authentic, powerful connections with people that enabled us to share something truthful, to share something exciting, and to rise above the experience of isolation.
She searches, almost as one starts to search for oneself at this crossing, this ford, which protects them. If the ford fails, rot, rain and flood will sweep over them and destroy the peace they inhabit.
Bobby and Cindy were twins, 2 halves of the same dream. They fished each other's sentences for meaning and turned it into something new. They fought over ice cream. They destroyed each other's prospects. But if anyone stole so much as a hair clip from either of them, they bottomed out their differences.
And as he stoops to see what's moving in the green and yellow daisies, a perfect sight, a butterfly's wing, beautiful and elegant as a snowflake.
We have this kind of community that forms and unforms and reshapes and reforms, but at the core of it is this kind of this shared process, this shared exploration of language and what story can do for us.
It's very organic and it's very much about process. It's not about getting an achieved product, although sometimes we do. The things that we write could then be disseminated outwards into the public spaces so that strangers could pick up on them and collect them, and that something of what we've shared here can be sent out to move somebody else, who knows who, like a little message in a bottle. So we come together on a Tuesday evening and we generate lots and lots of little bits of writing. What we do is a kind of big magic. We create things that come out of whatever the spaces that we create together.
Previously, I've talked about being very poetic and writing lots of narrative, but this letter has given us a freedom to develop a voice, which I've really enjoyed.
I think if I write things in future, I'll try and start with the one word and brainstorm it that way. It's really given me a few tools to use.
There's something very satisfactory about discovering a voice and communicating within our writing, and then having a response to that as well.
I'm artistic director here at the Boathouse Creative Studios in Barking, and I'm sitting in one of the studios at the moment which is empty, and it has been silent since the beginning of March. So a lot of the lovely, buzzy, creative things that we've been able to do here over the last 6 years since I set up the venue are suddenly had to come to a stop, as to a standstill. Closing the door and looking into the studios, not having any idea when we'd be back here. So pretty quickly I decided that one of the places I would go to retreat into would be poetry. I've always been a great lover of poetry. But it would be fantastic to make a creative writing project for people in isolation.
The great thing about sharing like this is that we end up working with things that aren't very comfortable and that we would never choose to produce for ourselves. Sometimes when you embrace that and you go into that space, you get out of it the thing that actually gives the whole piece its real energy.
It's been an absolute joy to work on this project. As we come to the close, what would be fantastic is to feel that people all over Barking and Dagenham will continue to write and create and share their writing.
It would make a very fitting end to the project to invite people to write messages on cards or pieces of paper. Write a message, a love letter or a message of hope, and hang them out in the public spaces, take them into the public domain, see where they find their place.
And I've absolutely no doubt whatsoever that writing has been, I'd go as far as to say, being a bit of a soul saver during this time. It's given people a real sense of what their humanity is.
That's what love does, and that's what writing does, isn't it? It transforms the ordinary into something miraculous.